I honestly don't think that Jinx Avery intends to marry Chief Mallory at all. I have this strange notion that she's really acting out of spite.
For heaven's sake, where on earth did you get such an idea?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Kavanaugh. I told you, I don't believe one of those rumors about your husband. I don't believe he cares 2 cents about that woman, but she's definitely after him. And she's capable of anything. Even pretending to marry someone else, hoping your husband will be jealous.
You can just stop that this minute.
You can fire me if you like, but I'm going to speak the truth here. I'm not going to be silent about it.
Shut up! You have no idea what you are talking about, you stupid woman.
It's all right. I knew you'd be angry. I knew you'd throw me out. But I care too much about...
Nora!
Do you know what they're doing right in front of you? Jinx Avery!
Nora, Jinx Avery is dying!
What did you say?
I said, Jinx Avery is dying. Now, do you think that she has time for all this nonsense you're talking about?
You don't mean that literally. The woman looks so healthy.
Well, she's not. Just as there is not anything going on between her and my husband.
But her interest in him was much more than that of a patient for a doctor.
Yes, but don't you understand why now? She has every reason to want his attention because he is her doctor. Do you understand?
Are you sure that she isn't just... No, she wouldn't be faking something.
Of course she's not faking it. She only has a few months, maybe even only a few weeks.
My God.
I know it. So now do you see how stupid you were? Not only stupid, but you were also very cruel. I hope you realize that now.
Yes, I do. I'm sorry. I cannot tell you how sorry I am.
You're not half as sorry as I am. Jinx Avery doesn't want anyone to know about her illness. She made my husband swear a solemn vow that he wouldn't tell anyone about her. And I made him that same promise, and now because of your ridiculous gossiping, I have broken that promise.
Please, forgive me. I'll do anything to make this up to you.
Just remember that this is extremely confidential, and you can just keep your mouth shut about this whole thing.
I'll never say her name again, I swear.
So help me God, if you breathe one word to anybody, you can forget about working for me or anybody else in this town who needs my reference.
Don't worry, Mrs. Kavanaugh, I'll never mention it. Not just because of my job. I feel so sorry for that poor woman. What a terrible thing to happen to her, especially right now.
Jinx, this is stunning. It's perfect for you.
I don't think I've ever seen a more beautiful wedding dress.
Oh, nor a more beautiful bride.
Thank you.
Of course, it will take a few more days to get all the paperwork in order, Mike. You understand that?
Of course, Derek. I know some of the facts will still be missing. With the accused being dead, there are bound to be gaps in the story.
Is that going to cause problem with the grand jury?
Well, Mike's a better judge of that than I am.
There won't be any problem, Miles. Damian Tyler's original theory holds up completely in every detail that's important. Schuyler Whitney engineered the frame-up of Gavin, and he killed Gunther in cold blood.
Yeah, but that's where the biggest gap lies, the actual motive for Gunther's murder. I mean, he must have represented some kind of threat to him.
The word blackmail comes to mind.
It certainly wouldn't surprise me. Whitney was a secretive type. Maybe one of his secrets was a dark one.
I think that's the most likely explanation.
Well, Derek, I guess you know what aspect of the case interests me the most, the standing of Gavin.
Well, it's implicit right here in the report. Gavin's totally exonerated.
As far as the police are concerned, anyway, but the court still has to exonerate him. The charge still has to be dropped.
Was that going to be a problem?
I don't think so. I spoke to Judge Bowman this morning, and if I were a betting man, I'd say the odds were 100-0. The charge will be dropped.
Well, that's good news for those kids.
It's a happy ending for everybody, except Raven.
Raven? I hadn't even thought of her in this situation. What is her position with all these charges being leveled against her husband?
Well, she hasn't been implicated at all. I don't think she had any idea what he was doing.
In fact, Tyler credits her with helping him solve the murder of Bobby Gerard. She volunteered the information that pinned the crime on her husband. Of course, she didn't have any idea the effect it would have.
But as a matter of fact, she refuses to believe that he committed either one of those murders. She thinks we're covering up for Gavin Wiley.
I can understand how she feels. She was his wife. She still has the Whitney name. And I guess she wants to preserve its honor.
Yes, she's got the name and the fortune.
So when we first got to Switzerland, it was like a dream come true. It was so beautiful. I've never been happier in my life.
Is that really true, Raven? After all, when you went on this second honeymoon, it was after you had heard some very disturbing things about Skylar.
I never heard anything that convinced me that Skylar did anything wrong, and I still haven't, and I really don't want to discuss it.
I'm sorry, go on.
Anyway, it was perfect. We stayed in this exquisite little cabin up in the mountains. And the helicopter used to have to bring us up there. And we didn't even have to use the ski lifts because the helicopter would just take us to the top of the mountain. And then, the last day.
You don't have to talk about this now, you know.
No, I want to. The last day, Skylar had picked this intermediate slope that he thought was perfect. And we took the helicopter to the top, and obviously I wasn't good enough to ski down the slope because I started going way too fast. And at one point I lost control and fell down.
Raven, were you hurt?
No. I just had the wind knocked out of me. I'd hit my head on the ground. And when I came to, I was in Skylar's arms. He'd come to help me and take me someplace where I'd be okay. And that was the last memory I had of him in his arms. And then this shot rang out. And Skylar fell down with me in his arms. And I turned around and looked up, and there was this person, this skier dressed in black with a shotgun in his arms. And he just turned around and walked off as if he didn't even care, as if he just shot some animal. And they don't know who he was or why he killed my husband. And they don't care because they just say that Skylar was a murderer. That's what they're saying.
I know that, Raven. And that's why I wanted to come back here and be with you for as long as you need me.
I do need you, and I'm so sorry I said all those things. I know you were just trying to help me.
It wasn't your fault entirely.
Oh, please. Can we just kind of forget about everything, and would you come back and live with me?
Nothing would please me more.
Oh, good. Spencer, Geraldine's gonna live with us again.
I'm pleased to hear it, Mrs. Saxon. If I can help you move back.
Thank you, Spencer. That's very kind.
And if there's anything that I can do for you now, perhaps if I knew your plans for lunch.
Lunch? Oh, I'm starving. Would you like some lunch?
Raven, now there's a practical thing we can do.
I'm going to that programming meeting now. I trust you will remember our conversation.
I will, Mrs. Kavanaugh. I just didn't know, that's
And you
all.
still don't know. Because no one does except Miss Avery, Miles, and myself.
And Chief Mallory doesn't know?
No. Answer that and take a message. I don't have time for it now.
Hello. Well, this is a surprise, you calling me.
I just wanted to know if you'd read the morning paper, Nora.
Where were you, Spencer?
I was on vacation, but I'm calling about this article that I read. Normally, I suppose it would be in the society section, but it's not every day that a police chief gets married.
I know all about it, thank you.
Looks like your plans aren't working out so good, Nora. You had Jinx Avery paired off with Dr. Kavanaugh, but evidently you were wrong again.
You think I'm beaten, don't you? That's why you're calling to rub it in. Well, don't be so sure.
Spot. We need a blue one for stage right. And if we do musical numbers, we'll need a follow spot. Why don't you just fix them all?
Gee, I really don't know what I'd do without all your help, Smiley.
Hey, remember that soft shoe routine I used to do?
I remember all your routines, Smiley.
Yeah, I do a lot more now. You'd be surprised what I've learned.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to know what you learned in the joint.
Hey, do me a favor, will you? Words like joint and slammer, yeah, don't use them around here. I don't want people to think your big brother was a con or something.
Yeah, you're right, I guess. We wouldn't want people to think that, now would we?
You know what's up, man? Hey, listen, heck, that was a one-time thing that happened to me. I made one mistake and I'm never... not gonna make any more, all right?
Oh, hi. How you
Hi.
doing?
Is Jim in?
Oh, no, he's not going to be here today, Gavin. He said he decided to stay home. Matter of fact, he seemed kind of
Oh,
depressed.
too bad. We have some news that might cheer him up.
What kind of news?
They are dropping the charges against Gavin.
Hey, no kidding? Oh, that's great. So you're not going to go to the slammer after all, huh?
That's the way it looks. So I thought I'd come by and ask Jim if he still wants a director. He's got one.
Well, congratulations, Gavin. Be good to have you with us.
Thanks. Now, all we have to do is come up with a theater.
And the money.
Hey, don't worry about that. We've got somebody working on that now.
Don't put your knife down so frequently, darling. Learn to keep your fork in your left hand. That's how it's done on the continent.
But this is America.
Well, yes, well, it looks better in America, too.
I don't see what's so important about that.
No, darling, I have a certain standard to maintain. And my escort is a very important part of that standard. That's why I want you to look and act, well, as a gentleman should. Do you understand?
Sure, Mrs. Revere.
Don't you think that at this point, you could afford to be a bit more familiar?
In here?
No. No, I mean my name.
Oh.
Call me Buffy. All my friends call me Buffy. Speaking of which, I have a very busy next couple of days. In some cases, you will be a part of it.
You wear glasses?
I do not. This afternoon, we have tickets to a chamber music recital. It'll be a bit boring, but I'm sure that you'll manage to get through it all right.
Mrs. Revere, I can't go anywhere this afternoon.
I beg your pardon.
Buffy, I'm supposed to meet the guys down at the acting studio. Hey, I have an idea. If that thing is going to be so boring, why don't you come along with me to the studio? I'm sure the guys would love to meet you.
Yes. Yes, I'm sure they would. But I have no interest in meeting the guys.
No, really, I think you'd really like them. We really are a talented group.
Listen, darling. Maybe you didn't understand me the first time. I have no interest in meeting your friends, or your neighbors, or your ex-girlfriends. Only you. And as long as we're together, everything I have is yours. But nothing, absolutely nothing that I have is theirs. Is that clear? Now, would you ask for the check, please?
Waiter.
Yes, sir.
Check, please.
Certainly. Found. It's right here. It's not bad. It needs a lot of work. There's not enough substance to it. It needs to be tightened up and rewritten a bit.
What about the major roles? Have you figured out who's going to play those yet?
Oh, give me a break, Hector. I just joined the group. I don't know what any of your abilities are.
No, I can do anything. Anything. Anything.
So Mitzi tells me you play a really great old man, Mr. Wilson.
Eddie, thank you. Thank you very much. Call me Smiley. I guess you'll be playing the part of the girlfriend.
No, I thought Valerie Bryson.
Oh, forget about her. Jim told me she's dropping out of the group. So if you want the part, I think it could be yours.
Why is Val quitting?
Beats me. But something tells me she and Jim had a little fight.
I'll tell you another problem with this play, Trial by Blood. The sets. Unless we can improvise, look, I've got a list right here. We've got a police station, jail cell, lawyer's office, courtroom. 4 sets.
And no theater to put them in, that's the problem.
And here comes the solution. Johnny, how's it going?
Not so good, Smiley.
What's the matter?
It's Buffy, Mrs. Revere.
Buffy? Who's that?
You blew it again, buddy.
What blew it? What blow? She owns the penthouse of the Monticello Arms Hotel. But don't tell me she's on welfare.
No. She's loaded all right. It's just that She has no intention of giving any money to any out-of-work actors.
Why didn't you didn't hit on her for the money already.
Oh, I swear it, I didn't ask her for any money. She just came right out and told me if I had any intentions of asking her to sponsor the group, I should just forget it.
I don't understand any of this.
I do. Listen, you guys are crazy trying to find a patron of the arts. They are very rare these days. What we've got to do is pitch in and make the money ourselves, rent a theater on a short-term lease, and then hope and pray for public response.
Well, the only decent theater in Monticello is the Whitney.
Whitney. Whitney, what did I read in the paper about Whitney?
You read a lot about Schuyler Whitney. He's the guy you stole in the place.
It's owned by his widow now, Raven Whitney.
Did you hear that, Johnny? Another rich widow.
I dread going to this funeral.
I'll be there, and I'll help you as much as I can.
Thanks.
Raven, I took the liberty of speaking to the funeral director. I felt that the services should be as brief as possible. I hope you agree.
Actually, I wish there weren't any services at all. There's going to be all those reporters there.
Perhaps we can avoid them.
I wish I had an armed guard to keep them away.
Maybe it won't be as bad as you think.
I'll tell you one thing. There are going to be very few mourners for Schuyler Whitney.
Do today is start planning the reception.
Yes, I suppose we should.
It looks as though there are going to be more than a dozen people, Jinx.
You know, I think we're going to have to rent a place, but nothing too fancy.
Well, let's think that over.
You know, whatever we do, I don't want Derek to pay for any part of the reception. I mean, it's traditional, isn't it, that the bride takes care of those things?
The bride's family, but in a case they're not involved, then no reason in the world why the groom or friends or...
No. I insist on doing that myself.
I see you have your share of stubborn pride.
Yes, I inherited that from my father. But you know, I've been thinking about it, and maybe we should just forget the reception altogether. Oh, we started out saying it was going to be a very simple wedding, and I think maybe we should keep it that way.
When you looked in that mirror, what did you see?
The unbelievable. Me, the bride.
Uh-huh. In the most beautiful wedding gown you'd ever seen. That's what you said.
Yes, it is.
Uh-huh. All right. Now, do you really want to wear that dress only for the length of the wedding ceremony? It's such a short time. It goes so quickly. I wouldn't if it were my dress.
Yes, you're right.
Okay. That's settled. There's going to be a reception. Oh, I had an idea. Small as it may be, the car living room might not be a bad idea.
Excuse me. Hello?
Hello, Jinx. This is Nicole.
Oh, hello.
Hi. Listen, I just had an idea a little while ago. I don't know if you've made plans yet, but I was wondering if you would let Miles and me give you and Derek the wedding reception. I mean, we have so much room in the penthouse, and it would make us both very happy.
Well, that's very nice, but
I understand if you already have other plans, but if you haven't, please let us do it. Because it would mean so much to Miles, and it would mean a lot to me, too.
I'd like that. I'd like that very much, Nicole, but I don't know how to thank you.
Well, don't thank me at all. Just come on over tomorrow, and we'll start making plans, okay?
Okay, fine. I'll call you tomorrow. Thank you again.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye.
You're not going to believe this. Nicole has offered the penthouse for the reception.
That's terrific. That's wonderful. Derek is going to be thrilled.
Oh, Derek, I've got to call him right away.
All right.
Chief, Miss Avery's out too.
Oh, thank you. Hi, honey.
Hi.
say. Oh, I've got wonderful news. Miles and Nicole are going to give us a reception.
Oh, that's great. That's awful nice of them.
Oh, yes, I thought it was very nice. I mean, I know that he's a very good friend of yours, but I didn't think Nicole... Well, never mind. Anyway, she just called me this minute and said that they would be very happy to give it. Isn't that terrific?
Oh, that is terrific. Now, does this mean that you may invite your dad?
Well, I hadn't thought about that.
Oh, hon, I'm gonna have to go. There's somebody outside wanting to see me. I'll see you later tonight.
Oh, okay. I love you.
I love you, sweetheart.
Bye.
Who is it, Helen? She say what she wants? She said that? Send her in.
Hello, Chief Mallory.
All right, what is this important information you have to tell me about Jinx Avery?